my God.
Now you were hanging on then, weren't you?
Yeah, bloody right I was.
Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to a very windy Epsom Downs. Now, question for you. What would happen if you took a classic Mark II Jag and put the supercharged V8 from an XJR under the bonnet? Well, you'd end up with one of them. Now, just last week on the channel, I drove the brand new Audi RS6, and you could argue, if you were criminally minded, that that car would make the perfect getaway car. But if you were a criminal in the 60s, you drove a Mark II Jag. These things had a reputation, a bad boy reputation. The craze drove these things. They were brilliant. And even today, you see classic, modern, historic racing. At the revival, you see the Mark II Jag, absolutely brilliant things. But this, well, this is a kind of Mark II Jag with a bit of, well, it's a bad boy, that's for sure. Because what we have here is a kind of hybrid between the looks of a Mark II Jag and the underpinnings of a Jaguar XJR. Yes, underneath that bonnet is a 4-litre supercharged V8, much of the running gear from the XJR, but obviously the classic outer looks of a Mark II Jag. And for me, this car looks so badass. The other thing you'll notice is it's sat very low because it's sat on bags, it's running on air, and it just looks amazing. But this car's party piece probably isn't so much to do with its looks, it's what it sounds like, because it's effectively got a straight pipe, 2 side exit exhausts that make the most outrageous noise of any car I've heard in a very long time. But yes, what can I say? Now, even the owner would say it's not been finished in the best way, but I actually think that's part of its charm and part of its character. It just looks so badass. I mean, look at it. Come this way. Yeah, I just think the way this car looks is so cool. I mean, this satin green colour, the black trim, it looks so mean and so aggressive. But it's what comes out of these side exit exhausts. It's truly, truly demonic. This car should have an ASBO, but we will get to that very shortly. Now, interestingly, this car is owned by the brother of a good friend of mine, someone who is well known to the channel. We've met Mark before. My mate Mark owns the classic orange Mini that I drove on the channel a couple of years ago. The video's done over 300,000 views, and we are well adverse to battling each other at the GRRC Auto Solos. So I am going to get Mark to talk a little bit about this car, because this car was bought as a project that had already been done, and then him and his brother have been trying to kind of get it better and improving it over the past few months or so. So there's still a few bits to do on the car, and they would be the first people to admit it's not perfect, but the character this thing has is quite frankly off the charts. But I think we need to have a quick look under the bonnet, but in order to do that, you actually have to take the bonnet off. Now, normally under the bonnet of a Mark II Jag, you'd find a 3-litre straight 6, but that's a 4-litre supercharged V8, and it's properly shoehorned in. In fact, so shoehorned in, put the engine in and then drop the body shell back over it. So if the engine needed to come out, the body shell would have to come off first. It's really tight in there. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. So I think what we need to do now is, and I must say I'm quite nervous about this, is take this car for a drive and hope I don't blow up the mics on my cameras, and just chat to Mark a little bit about the things that they've been doing just to get this car, you know, sorted really. It needed quite a lot of extra bits done. You know, the first thing is, okay, we'll stick a V8 in a Mark II Jag, but then you've got other things to think about. The way the suspension setup, the geometry, the way it drives, all of those things have taken quite a bit of fettling.
Welcome back to the channel, my friends.
Hello.
This car is ridiculous.
You've noticed.
I don't even know where to begin with this car, apart from the fact it looks so cool. So it's your brother's car.
It is my brother's car, yeah.
But you've kind of been doing a lot of work on it, so working out where the pedals are. That's the important pedal.
Yeah, the stop one. Oh, that's
just wrong.
You don't go out at 4 in the morning in this.
Right. Okay. So, Mk2 Jag shell.
Yep.
Majority underpinnings XJR. Interior from the XJR, which
Yep.
that's the most impressive thing. How they've got an XJR interior in here.
Well, by cutting the ends off it.
and then it's on air as well.
It's on air, yeah.
Just ridiculous. But oh, mate. So we've got a little loop here. Not in the most ideal roads, but perfect roads just to experience the car. And
it's for cruising in, really.
It's a very cruisy car. Yeah. So I've got right. So I guess just stick it in drive.
Yep.
D for drive, and pull away.
Yep.
And be very gentle on the throttle. Apparently.
Yeah. Don't stab at it. On a light throttle, isn't it?
That's ridiculous. So how on earth do you even start putting an XJR underpinnings into a Mk2 Jag?
Well, I can't answer that question totally because I didn't build the car.
Right.
As you mentioned, it's my brother's car. His line of business, he produces car cleaning products. He's got various ranges, and he saw this car come up for sale. The chap who'd built it was selling it as a sort of not half finished but not quite completed project.
Yeah.
And my brother bought it to use for promoting the cleaning products.
You'll have to speak up.
But once he'd got the thing and heard it and seen it in the flesh, he fell in love with it and decided he wanted to keep it. And as I said, it wasn't exactly finished when he got it, so there was no interior door cards, or there was a lot of unfinished parts on it. So when lockdown started, he had it shipped down. Jesus. He had it shipped down to me, and I've been tinkering with it and finishing the bits off.
So what I call this like almost like a rat rod.
Oh,
it's
it is.
not perfect at all by a long stretch, but it kind of suits that demonic nature of the car.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't want to try and perfect this car. You'd actually spoil it by trying to perfect it.
It is the most antisocial car ever. There we go. You have to hold on, don't you?
You do. It's a handful.
So we've been talking about getting this car on the channel for ages.
Yeah, for some time.
Ever since your brother first got it,
Yeah.
and it hasn't. We've been waiting for it to be in a state where I was able to drive it. It's not disappointed, mate. It's wicked. So what are the main things, apart from doing things like some of the interior trim, just getting it set up?
There were lots of leaks on the air system, so you were constantly having to keep pumping it up as you were driving it.
Yeah.
When it came down to me, it actually wouldn't even start at the time. The engine wasn't too happy. And just a lot of the interior still wasn't there. It's just been a case of taking bits apart and putting them back together a little more organised, so to speak.
Do we know anything about the power output of the
I don't know what it is, to be quite. It'll be whatever it was on the original car, because the engine's not been modified in any way other than the slightly ineffective exhaust.
What do you mean? the bit of drain pipe that connects the exhaust to that little the engine?
It has got a silencer on there.
Really?
It has. There is one under there.
It's just. I mean that's ridiculous at 30 miles an hour.
Yep. Well, it's great because with the noise and the slightly ratty feel of it, it feels fast even when you're not actually going that fast.
I wouldn't want to drive fast in this car, really. No.
People often say to me, it gets so much attention when you're out and about. People say, "Oh, do you race it?" And I always say, only if I wanted that to be my last day on Earth. I think.
It doesn't have the. It's a loud cruiser.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to drive this car fast. That's just wrong. In the best way possible. Mate, I've driven a couple of very loud V8 Jaguars on the channel recently. Nothing compared to this.
Well, you haven't actually got it fully up to volume yet. No. I can tell you.
I'm being good.
Yeah.
I'm being very good. A combination of this isn't my car and I don't want to die, and your brother would never speak to me again.
That's true.
And also the roads we're on, we just got this little triangle, and you know we don't really go very fast. So wow. So is there anything else that he wants to do to it, or just now it's kind of pretty much running and?
Yeah, there's a couple of more little leaks on the air that I'd like to address, but it's actually going back to Suffolk tomorrow, so that might be on hold. And the main thing is that we're not that keen on the fit of the wheel arches.
Yeah.
So we're currently looking at getting some custom-made arches that will follow the tyre.
Yeah.
These ones look all right when it's completely low down on the ground.
Yes.
But when you get it up for driving height, they just don't
Doesn't look quite right.
No, not quite right.
I love the view over the bonnet because you've got your two massive bonnet clamps that look quite OTT really, but I guess they're there for looks more than.
Oh well, no, there's no other way of holding the bonnet on.
And then the big Jaguar stuck out the front as well.
Yeah.
Oh mate, this is wicked. And the roof, you were saying that.
Yeah, it's
that was fitted so long ago.
It was fitted by it says the Allard Motor Company. They're based in Clapham, and the phone number is 4 digits long. So that's how.
Now, this is the sad thing. As a telecoms person, I found that really interesting. Very nerdy. So I think 4-digit phone numbers. When did we last use 4-digit phone numbers? It is. You could just. This is such a cruiser.
I know when you boot it and it's loud and it's fun, but it's actually just as much fun. I'll tell you what, if you drive through a high street, just cruise at 20 miles an hour, but keep an eye on the pavement, because it's just everyone looking over.
Grannies keeling over with heart attacks and stuff. Mate, what a car! So all of the dash is XJR.
It's all XJR,
sorry.
apart from that's where the clock should be, but it's had a boost gauge put in instead. There's one of the things that doesn't work, and that we're not going to bother repairing, is the stereo.
That'd be a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And the thing is, okay, so the biggest challenge you've got as a YouTuber is portraying what a car sounds like through the microphones of a camera. It's just impossible. That is ridiculous.
It's deafening, isn't it?
Yeah. Does it spit flame? Because that would be.
I've never bothered to look outside when driving.
It needs to. That's wicked.
It certainly pops and bangs.
Mate, well, all I need to say is thank you so much for the invite. Coming to share this thing.
You're welcome.
Oh, here we go. Just a little bit of a. That's just something. Anyway, guys, a little bit different, I know, but as soon as Mark sent me the pictures of this car, which was a long time ago now, I thought, I've got to get that on the channel. That is wicked.
I'm pleased you've been able to see it.
It's amazing. As I said, it's just one of those. It's the mad, crazy things that mechanics do every now and again. They think, I wonder if. And there we go. This has got to be the coolest Mark II Jag there is.
It's certainly the baddest one. I think.
Baddest, badass Mark II Jag. But I think we might get one final acceleration out of this. Oh, this little triangle's great, by the way. One final little acceleration. throttles, and then you just hear the supercharger whine as well.
Yeah.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. Oh dear. Gather your thoughts, Peter. I hope you've enjoyed that one. If you have done so, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. Make sure you check out the classic mini video. We want to try and get that the most watched video on the channel.
Yep, a few more.
It needs a few more views. It's done 305,000 views already, so it's doing well, but Mark's constantly keeping an eye on where it is. He wants it to be the most viewed video on the channel. So, or we could make this one the most viewed video on the channel.
I'd accept that.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'll see you on the next film. You take care.
If you make it.
If you make it. And if I make it, I'll do my best to drive safe, and so do you.